Okay, so today what we are going to start is basically, let me just first of all open up a new folder for today, and then I'll just create some notes as well as we see some. All right, lecture codes. So we are into very much into our week 7. So today what we are starting is that we will discuss today DOM programming, and you will see that DOM programming is quite an interesting one, and definitely you are going to enjoy that, because what we are doing today, or what DOM basically does it, that the knowledge that we have learned by learning, like by having or learning the JavaScript and the knowledge of the HTML, we are basically trying to combine that together into one thing. So for example, if I just say downloads.txt of our first file, so Eric, why don't you use the CL to make your directories and files? What do you mean, Eric?
Like using touch or make dir to make a command.
Oh yeah, I see. We can do that, make dir and everything. But Eric, but actually, what I do is that since I have this facility of just opening a folder and making it over there, I can just do that over here. Otherwise, yes, you're right. If you are comfortable in those like commands, you should definitely go for that, right? So it's just your call. It's not. So again, and why I do that, because I feel comfortable in working in Windows, and I know that I can create a new folder over here, and I just that's why I just do that. You know what I mean? So it's not there's no specific reason for that. So today we are starting, rather we should say, HTML to DOM. We are moving from HTML to the DOM. Okay, I've started recording. Yes. So as I said, that we are basically trying to shift ourselves, not shift ourselves, rather we are trying to make ourselves to the world of where we want to, we want those websites that can be updated, that can be that can that with which we can just interact with them, and they just keep on changing, the values keep on changing, and we see that that lots of things have happened. Let me just show you an example for the time being. And okay, I'll just show you updates. Okay, let me just see that if I can show you. Okay, this is not the case. Let me just. Okay. Yeah, this is what I want to show you. So see here. So for example, this is one website that is showing the world population right now, right? So if you see that, these values keep on changing over there. The current population keeps on changing over there. The current male population keeps on changing over there. Current female population keeps on changing. So what you see over here is that the HTML which is loaded over here is basically continuously being updated. Now, that might be updated by a database, that might be updated by anything, but what I see is that I can see some HTML which is continuously being updated by some of the feed. You know what I mean? So how it is happening? It might be happening, as I said, it might be happening from some database. It might be happening from some other thing. But what I'm saying is that okay, that I have got this specific thing that where I can just select something from HTML and I can update that one by using. So now the DOM programming that we are talking about, the DOM programming actually does that. The updates in the HTML file. You know what I should I write? I should write over here for example for the DOM, the updates in HTML document. You know what I mean? You need to make, for example, if we again see this page, we are seeing that there is continuously change in these values, and there might be other values which are continuously changing. Maybe the population of the countries is changing typically. But what we see is that we say that okay, that what we can do is that we have this facility of accessing something in the HTML and changing that. You know what I mean? So interaction of HTML and interaction of the JavaScript, for example. Yeah, exactly. So these all will be the thing. So now let's start that talking about HTML to DOM transition. Now to understand the HTML to DOM transition, what we'll see is that we'll see a document that I have copied from your notes, and I'll show you from the notes as well. But let's talk about this document first, and I will call it again index.html. Just create an index.html, and this is one document that is in your notes. So I've just copied that one because I'll talk about this one. This is the document that is coming from your notes, right? Week 7 notes. So I have taken this document and I've just copied and pasted over here. So this is my HTML right now. So we are seeing that what does this HTML to DOM means. Now you see here that we say that web pages rely on HTML for their initial structure and content. We write web pages using HTML and then use web browsers to parse and render that HTML into a living, modifiable at runtime tree structure. This is very important, tree structure. When we load something in the browser, so for example, if I run this file, which is very normal file, there is no extravagant cheese in the thing in the file. So if I show you, this is a document. So far, so good. Like again, it's a normal HTML document. We know that it has an H1, it has a paragraph, it has a UL, like whichever there are three. But the problem is, or the main thing is that whenever we talk about a web page being loaded in a web browser like this, the web browser looks that page as a tree structure. And as I showed you a website, modifiable at the runtime. What does that mean? I showed you that this might be a modifiable tree structure at the runtime. So it's modifying at the runtime. These values keep on changing. These values keep on, you keep on having different things. So now, so basically what we are saying is that the document, when loaded in memory of the browser, it looks at this document as a tree structure. Now, browser will parse and render this into a tree of nodes. Like, this is very interesting. Now, I want you to focus on this one. I'll take my marker here. So if you see here, that browser will parse and render this into a tree of nodes, which is called DOM tree. First of all, my document, the browser reads my document like this upside down tree. It is an upside down tree, right? Now, how does it see that? That it has basically the main element, which is called the root element. So it represents the root at the very top. Like, it's upside down tree, as I said. So root at the top. Root usually goes inside the inside or downside. But again, this is an upside down tree. So root HTML is my root element. Now, after HTML is root element, HTML has two childs. HTML has a one child head and has one child body. Do you guys understand that? I'll have to remove my marker over here and I'll have to show it to you. If I open this up, do you see that HTML has these two kids? Does everybody understand that? HTML is the root element. It has two kids, like, two childs. One is head, one is body. Make sense, everyone? Not Eric only. It's like HTML is object and elements are like the properties. Aditya, it's not like that. Just understand that whenever we load a web, like you load an HTML document in the web browser, it makes a tree out of it. Just understand this, and I'll explain you that where do you find that, where will you work on that. But just understand, okay, it creates a tree, and it says that okay, HTML is the main root, and HTML has these two child. Can you understand this, Aditya, that HTML has two childs only, a head and a body, and then they have their own child. Yeah, exactly. So that's a separate thing. Now, if I show you again, let me take my annotation tool rather. This one, annotation draw. So if you see here that this is my root element and it has two childs. It has child head, it has child body. So you see that it has two childs. One is head and one is body. Now, every element, it's not path, Eric, it's not path. Every element has its own childs into that one. So if I show you it over here, and if I just, okay, I'll have to just close this one. If I just open this head and if I open this body, so head has its own, has its own childs over there. The title, this is a document, the meta chart set is equal to UTF-head. So if you see here, you will find that, okay, head has two childs, title, and so these are all elements. So elements are coming inside like this one. Now, do you understand? This is also an element, an empty element meta, but it's also represented as an element. So elements are represented like this, and they are called nodes in our document object model. So basically, it has two childs, and head has two childs. One is meta element, and one is title element. Make sense, everyone? Then talk about body. When you come in the body, you will see that body has three childs. It has a child UL, it has a child P, paragraph, it has a child H1. Yes, Aditya is getting that one. Now see here, like if I open a body, body has three childs. I'll show you. H1, P, and UL. Now, P has another element inside it. Do you see that? I hope everyone can see that. I'll word wrap it. So you can see that P also has one more child out inside that. And what is that child? This is called A child. So P has one more child A, and then UL has three childs, by the way. First item is LI. So UL has like these three items, these three childs, and I can use these three childs over there. So I'll say, okay, UL has a LI, and LI. It has those three childs. Now, understanding this tree structure is very important. I want you to understand that. Why? Because this, like DOM programming, totally depends upon this tree structure. DOM programming will treat this document as a structured tree, and then it will be accessing each and every part of this tree by representing these kind of things. Now, if you see here, there is a detail of that one. The DOM tree. This is called DOM tree. This is called DOM tree. The tree that browser creates when we access an HTML document through a browser. So browser has in memory this tree. The DOM tree is made up of DOM nodes. These are called nodes. This is called node 1, node 2, node 3, node. And which one is the root node? By the way, which one is the root node out of these all nodes? We know that HTML is the root node. We can see that. Which DOM nodes which represent all aspects of our document from element to attributes and comments. There are attributes, elements, and comments. We'll talk about that. We'll refer to nodes and elements interchangeably. Sometimes we'll say nodes, sometimes we'll say elements. Both mean same. HTML is a node and as well as it's an element, right? Because all elements are nodes in the tree. So all elements typically represents a node in the tree. However, there are also other types of nodes, for example, text nodes. Now, these are normal solid nodes that we have, but then we have another type, which is called type of node, which is called text nodes. The text in a block element and attribute node key value pairs. We don't always show node in our diagram. Consider the P element of the example above. Now, if you see here, I'll show you something. Okay, I'll show you something. I'll clear our brain. I'll show you. Now, see here. Consider this paragraph. This paragraph node typically contains three things. First of all, we showed that paragraph contains this one A. That's correct, and that's right. But if you see here, paragraph contains typically three things. Paragraph, this A, it has this A, and before this A, there are some text. Do you understand, everyone? And after or inside this A, there is some text. And after this A, there is some text. Make sense, everyone? So now these are called text nodes. You see hollow nodes in a diagram. When we show them as a hollow node. So a hollow node, a radius type of some radius type, what do we call these type of shapes basically, so we just represent them in a different shape. They are hollow, they are not in a solid color. So these are called text nodes. This is a text node, this is a text node, this is a text node. Is it yes, Aditya, thank you very much, you are getting that one. So now if you see here that we have got some text node, but again remember that we can just, we will be playing with this text node as well, we'll be playing with these nodes as well, we'll be playing with everything, but you have to just keep in mind that a tree structure is made like that, right? So if I want to make the tree of UI, if I want to make the tree of UL for example, so I will first of all make a solid line and I'll say this is UL, right? And this UL has three childs. What are those three childs? Li, sorry, Li, bear with my drawing. Li, Li, Li. Now, if you see that Li, first Li has a text node. Now, I will represent a text node with a different shape. And this has what? First item. And it has a text node. It has a text node. Are you understanding that one? So there will be text nodes of UL. Sorry. Right? So these are basically the text nodes of Li. Okay, so when we load a browser, you see that I can see the complete HTML in my inspector. And I can show you that. You see these elements represent all the document that I have over here. Just don't worry about this data is equal to RST check, something like that. There are few code that it injects, the browser injects for itself. You see type is equal to text like JavaScript, which we have not used. But again, just remember that, okay, it injects some code to run this in the web browser. You know what I mean? So basically what is happening is that you see that it is showing me that, okay, this is your HTML root element. Then you have this head as a title, meta script, and then again some script added by the browser. Don't worry, ad blocker or something it has added. And then we have head is ending over here, and then we have a body, and body has some codes inside that one. So when we just load a document, you will see that you can see that if you look at the source or if you look at the inspector tool, you will find out that, okay, the document has been, a tree has been created over there. So when you go to the inspect, you see, you will find that, okay, this document is my document over here. Is that making sense to everyone? So now it will be, you can just look at and you can look at maybe different like websites. If you go to inspector, you'll find that all content structure will be over there. It will be available over there. Right. So now comes another very important part. Like again, do you understand the HTML? Like DOM creates, DOM tree is a tree of HTML elements. Be it, oh, who is that, your professor? Is it Gideon Thomas or Mark Sermon? It would be Gideon Thomas, I think. Oh, Gideon. Okay. So which course did you study with him, Eric? What was that course? Why is Mark saying why is Mark saying executive right Mozilla? Selector is Harvard developer. Okay, so it's, I don't know, you should ask Mark whenever you meet Mark. You should ask Mark that what's going on. Right? Okay, anyhow, so let's talk about this programming in DOM. So it be it nodes / elements, we'll use both of the terminologies, in exchanging. We might use one or the other, or text nodes. Create them. Now, programming the DOM. This is very important. How we will do the programming? Okay. Now, see here, let's just read that one and then I'll just explain that. Web pages are dynamic. They can change in response to the user actions. When we do any action on some elements, what happens that our websites are dynamic and they basically behave according to that one. So for example, if you see I am doing some action, I'm scrolling down. Do you understand that? I'm scrolling down. This is one action that user is taking. And if you see that website is of course dynamically showing me some content because it is just scrolling down. You know what I mean? Different data JavaScript code. So it runs, sometimes it will run JavaScript code, sometimes it will run something else. Where HTML defines the initial structure of the content of the page, the DOM is the current or actual content of the pages as it exists right now in your browser. And this means something quite different from initial HTML used to load the page. So when we just load the HTML page like this, you see this is one HTML page. No big deal. But what they are trying to say, they're trying to say that if I take an action, if I click on this welcome, if I double click on this third item, if I scroll down, if I double click on the body, I'm doing some actions over there. Now, when I do some actions, the DOM will be taking care of my actions and changing the contents according to that one. Exactly, Aditya. We'll be connecting JavaScript over there. So I will, for example, I will say whenever someone comes and click on welcome, run a JavaScript code that, for example, changes all the three items. Aditya, makes sense? So I'll say, okay, whenever someone come and click on paragraph, the paragraph should change over here. The new paragraph should appear. So it means at runtime, the DOM will be the original content that will be running on that my screen. So I showed you that world population website. Is it open still? No, I've just closed that one. So I'll again show you that world population website. And why I'm showing you that this is very interesting. You'll just see that. That's why I'm showing that. You see that it has some content that was loaded. It has loaded some contents, and now you see that it has started to just change the values. So DOM is making all these changes. Eric, is that making sense? DOM is basically making all these changes, and these changes are appeared on over here again. So someone is making these changes, and the DOM keeps on updating the values, and that's basically what the DOM does. But again, how DOM is doing that? For example, right now it is doing that whenever database gets updated, it updates the value over here. Can you disable the JS on the website using developer tools? I don't exactly know that, Eric. I'll have to just look that. I don't know that if we can disable that. I don't remember, like I have no knowledge of that. I'll have to just look that one, right? So I'll just look that and let you know, right? So basically, DOM is the current actual content of the page, and as it exists right now in the browser, and this can mean something quite different from the initial page. So you see that initial page was very different, and now we have different values over here. You know what I mean? So it will just keep on changing the value. Consider a web page like Gmail or any other webmail client. When you visit your inbox, the messages you see are not same as your friends visit. Of course, when I open my Gmail, I get my emails. When you open your email, you get your Gmail. The HTML of Gmail is the same no matter who loads the page, but it quickly changes into response to the needs of the current user. So whatever user is logged in, only his or her email address will be appeared over there. Otherwise, HTML is basically the same that is loading over there. So how does you modify a web page where it is being rendered in the browser? The answer is DOM programming. So how do we do that? How do we change all those DOM things, like HTML things? The answer to that is DOM programming. So document object model programming is a programming interface, set of objects, function, and properties that we will run in JavaScript, allowing the scripts to interact with and modify elements of XML, HTML. The DOM is an object-oriented representation of a web page. Client-side programming is essentially used DOM via JavaScript. Now, I'd like to just show you what we mean by over there. So, what is DOM programming? DOM programming enables us to run scripts and play with HTML. In my simplest words, right? It will enable us to run scripts and play with our HTML. And play means I can delete this first item, second item, third item. I can maybe change the message of this welcome from to something. I can click on this one and something can happen. So there are lots of things that might happen over there. So programming the DOM will enable me to do that. Eric, is that making sense? So we'll program in DOM to run our scripts to play with our HTML page. Yes, Eric, we can make them dance. Yes, you can do that, and they will typically dance. You will even, you can even define the type of dance which you want to make your characters to make. But again, we will just play with that. Yeah, exactly. But that DOM also can be used like for that one. CSS is also used for animating and making characters dance, and we can use that one as a DOM as well. Okay. Other than Aditya and Eric, everyone understanding what we are trying to do, because we are about to start the main concept of this one. I'm not getting any feedback from anyone else than these two guys. Okay, Clarissa, thank you. Okay, so looks like Aditya, Eric, and Clarissa are here. I don't know where are the rest of the guys? Even though we are very low in number, but those even are not here. Okay, let's move forward. So when we do programming in DOM, what we do is that this is typically when we do the programming in DOM. What we do is that as a web programmers, we use DOM by JavaScript to accomplish a number of important tasks. The first task is finding and getting references to the elements in the page. These are few things that we do when we are working with the DOM. Finding and getting references to the element. This is very important. Now here I would like to start something very interesting. If I go to inspector tool, you will see that in this inspector tool, we have got certain different things. If I show you, this is console that we have over here, right? And you remember that we have worked on one of the object of browser a lot of time, console.log. Hello from console. We have used this console a lot of time. You remember we had console.warn or error. Hello error, something like that. You see, you remember we have just worked on that one. So console is one of the objects. Now I would like to tell you this console and everything. All objects are coming from an object which is called window object. If I hit a window, you will see that all these elements or these things are being basically mentioned over here. What I'm trying to say, that window is the bigger box that contains all these elements. So this console is basically not console directly. It is actually window dot console. You'll see that. And for example, let's make it wrong. You know what I mean? Actually, the main content is window. So window is that giant big object that contains all those things inside that one. Now this same window, consists of a very important object, and it is called document. Window.document. When I say window.document, actually it talks about complete document. You see, all complete document. And again, as we know that window is optional, we can just leave out. So let's check window.document equal document. You see, it means that I can just write document and hit enter, and I'll get the same document back. Are you getting that? So let's do document. So what does document means? Document is the same DOM tree that we are talking about. It will show me all the complete HTML document that I have. This is head, this is body, this is body, and this body has like again H1 and then paragraph and then UL. It has all those kind of things. You understand, everyone? So this document is typically that object of window, window main object. It's that part of the window main object that will handle with my all the document that is over there. Now, interestingly, to find something on our web page, what we can do, so they are just mentioning over there, and I'll just show you. Find something on my page. I can do something like this. I can say document dot title. What is the title of my document? Let's hit enter. Are you guys getting it? I've just got the document title of the document. So I can find the title of the document. Okay. Can I find the body of the document? Document dot body. Yes, I can just see now body. Are you guys getting that? But why is it not head dot title? That's a wonderful question. That's a wonderful question. Let me show you something. Document dot head. Aditya has asked this question. So Aditya, remember, most of the elements that are typically, the part of the structure of the document, you remember that if you remember that when we do the HTML validation, it says that title should be always there inside the head. You know what I mean? So it typically goes over there, and all the structural things that are over here, it will just go over there and access them. So let me just show you. Document dot. Okay. No, it does not access that meta. So now basically all those available, available elements that are there. I don't know why it's not accessing that one, like the meta, but anyhow. So it will just go there, and it can just access that one. But the problem will start from here. As I'm saying, for the meta, I might not be able to do that document.h1. Why? Because there can be multiple h1, and there are other ways of accessing that. Exactly. Yes, it expects that. It always expects them, right? So document is one way of accessing. Now, other thing that we can access it directly by the document is that document dot links. If there are some links in the document. So see here, do I have a link in my document? It's called HTML connection. It will say, okay, yes, you have got one link in the HTML document. At 0 location, there is an anchor tag. Do you see that I have an anchor tag over here? It has found out this one, and it will show me, okay, where it is linked to. It will give all the details of the link over here. You see that it is showing me that, okay, it's a link, and where is this href to? See, href to index.html. You know what I mean? This is very important, that it is telling me everything about the link that is present on my page. So I can access document.links. I can access document.images. So there's general. So is there any image on my web page? We do have that ad blocker stuff in it. You are talking about this one, Eric?
Yeah, did you add that?
Sorry?
Did you add that yourself? Or
No. I told you, this all is being injected by the web browser because I have the ad blocker installed over here, right?
Oh, okay.
So what it does is that my browser typically injects that one. Not only that one, you see that it has injected this style over here as well, which we are not using. And moreover, if you see, I have Grammarly also activated. So do you see that Grammarly desktop integration that is also activated over here? You know what I mean? Yeah. So Eric, don't worry about these injections that it has done. Right now, we are just really concerned with the document type of something. So okay. I don't have any picture over here. If I want to bring some picture, let me just bring one car picture from my car pictures document. I have just, in desktop. Sorry. Car pics. I'll just take a one car picture, Control C, and I'll just copy it in my folder that I am working in. So week 7, and let's place a picture over here. So I place this car picture. And now if I want to bring this picture into my page, I can bring that picture. How can? IMG. Remember, IMG SRC is equal to car.jpeg. And let me give it alt car. Right, let's save. And let's see that if that car appears over there. Yes, the car appears over there, but it does not appear. Look at here. So I'll do width equal to 200. Right. So now if you see here that I have got one picture on my page as well. Now, if I go to inspect later on, and I say that I want to know how many images are there or what are the typical images. So I'll say document.images. Find me all the images of the document. It says that you have in HTML collection, you have one IMG. Make sense? If I open it up, it will say, okay, at 0 location, there is one IMG. If I access that one, it will tell me there is alt text as car. I have given this alt text car. It will mention its width as well, first of all, but let's see what is the SRC for that one. So if you come over here, it will show you the source of that one as well. So if I open that, like see here, SRC, this is SRC. Do you see car.jpeg? Eric, do they make sense? It is telling me the source of that one as well. If I ask it, okay, what is the width? Width is 200. You see, I have set the width of 200. I hope you guys are understanding that how powerful we have become. We have got all these things related to this picture. Now let's do one more thing. I'll bring these like 3 pictures over here. And let's copy these other pictures from my folder as well. Let me copy this one, two. Let's copy these 2 and paste that in our folder. And I'll call that car 2, right? Just for my simplicity. And I'll call this car 3. Right. So I've just copied these 3 pictures over here, and I want to just add them. So car 2 and car 3. Right. So let's see my document. Now I have 3 pictures over here. Do you see that? Now I want to know how many pictures are there. So I'll say document dot images. Tell me how many images do I have. Do you see that I have got 3 images over here? Because I have got 3 pictures over here. So if I just open this one, so you see it says that at 0 location there is first picture. Look at my screen on the top. It shows me which picture I am pointing to. This is second picture. This is third picture. Aditya, is that making sense? So it is just giving me the collection of this one, and it creates this collection that, okay, it says that you have got 3, like, 3 images which are basically typically over here. Is that making sense to everyone? And by the way, it will tell me the source of each picture over here. If I come, it is car.jpg, the first one. What is the second one? Second one SRC is, of course, the car 1. It should be car 2, right? So if I come over here at SRC, I will say that, okay, this is car 2. Okay. So anyhow, this is the way to normally access something. JavaScript, would you access a document? Exactly. Aditya, you are right. And just bear with me, I will do that. Yes, in JavaScript, we'll do that document.image of 0. So I'll talk about this first image and then document of 1 like this. And if you are really curious, I can just show you images. And if I write a square bracket, and if I say, for example, 1, right? So you see, Aditya, can you see that I have first image is selected? Perfect, right? And if I want to access the last picture, now everyone is getting that. Aditya has asked this question. You see that I will be accessing this as this collection. I will just go with 0, 1, and I will just find out. Okay, which was the first picture? Just access with 0. I'll get my first picture over here. Exactly, you can pop an image. You can do lots of things. Now, not only we can access these kind of things, we can even play and change these kind of things as well. I'll just show you. Document title. You remember this is a document. This is my title right now. Now, if I come over here and I say document.title equal to Namanati. What do you see? Where do you see Namanati now? Yeah, where do you see the Namanati message now? I have changed the title of the document at runtime. Do you guys see that? Okay. In the same way, I can just change anything here. I can just say Seneca College, something like that. If I hit, sorry, not hit save, hit enter. If I hit enter, you see that my title is changed. Okay. So we are first of all trying to search something. Now, this is not the only thing that we want to search over here. Rather, we will have some other methods of accessing or searching some elements in the document. Now, first of all, I would like to tell you that you remember that we have talked about the properties in our HTML, and we saw that we can define something with an ID as well. So if I give a paragraph and I say it lorem, right, and I give it an ID. ID is equal to para, or let's call it para 1, for example. So I've given an ID of para 1 over here, and I want to typically access that. So first of all, what we are saying, we are finding references to the elements, right? So we have just seen that we can directly access them, document dot document dot. But that's not the enough. There is another method of doing that one. What is that method? That is called, the method is get element by ID, right? But how do we access that? We access that by document dot get element by ID. If you have defined some ID in your document, which I have done here, para 1 with that, I can access that particular area typically by using that. Because you remember I told you I cannot access document.p. It says that parent element is nothing, and it won't show me like this kind of thing. But if I want to access this particular paragraph, you see this particular area, how would I access that? I will say document dot get element by ID. Now here in inverted commas, I will pass the ID para 1. Hit enter. See what happens at the bottom. Are you guys getting that one? It has just popped out, like it has just bring out just only paragraph, because this paragraph has an ID of para 1. So in all the page, it will directly go there. Aditya, to access that P, like, if you want to access that P, it won't be accessed with document.p, but rather it can be accessed by this one. Let me just show you. Now, if you are curious enough, there is a method called get element by tag name, which we the programmers never use now. Mostly they do not use that. So your document.p is not a function. Okay, you see that usually it's maybe. Let's see if it just accepts this paragraph. Okay, P is not defined. So you see that it might be looking for tag name, even though we usually do not use that. So document dot cannot use that. Like let me just see that the syntax of get element. You see that it just give that one by tag name. Just have a look at that one by tag name. Am I using the wrong thing? No, I'm using the right thing. Oh, get elements. Sorry, I was just using the wrong spelling. Sorry. Now let's see that. So if document dot get elements by tag name, you see, let's see if now it accesses that. Yeah, so you see here, I have just accessed get elements by tag name, and you see that I am getting a collection that there are 2 paragraphs in your page. Aditya, are you getting that? The first paragraph does not have any ID, the first one, and the second paragraph has an ID. It has para 1. Just don't worry about this one. So it has two one there. So by tag name, but we usually do not use this tag name. But anyhow, you can use them as well. But right now, one that we'll be using quite often is basically document dot get element by ID. You'll see that we'll use that so many times. So para 1. Now you see that I just get this paragraph. Now I forgot to tell you something. We can even define our own variables. I can say var body is equal to document.body. Do you understand what does that mean? I have stored the body of the document in another variable which is called the body, which is my variable, which is my JavaScript variable. Makes sense, Eric? Because now if I say body, if I just write body, I will get the body over here. I can say var my head or my title. My title is equal to document.title. Are you getting that? I have got the reference of, and I have saved that in a variable. And now if I write my title, if I write my title, you see that title appears. And if I say my title, you see that my title is appearing over here. Is that right? So we get the reference of complete element, or we get the reference of that one into that one. Is that making sense to you? In the same way, I can do something like this. I can say var my para equal to document dot get element by ID, and what I say para 1. Bring out the para 1 and store it in my tab. What does var become if you do this just object type? Yeah, exactly. It just become an object. It just become a sort of normal variable by the. Yeah, it's an object type because it has some properties, Aditya, and we can use those properties. You see, my para has this one, and I'll talk about that. What it becomes and how does it behave? Because I can play with this one. My para has so many properties over there. And let me tell you one of them. It is called inner text. You see that my para has this inner text inside that. Yes, you are right. It becomes an object data type. And you can see that. You can check that type of my para. You see, my para is an object. Aditya, got it? Type of my para is basically an object. That's wonderful. So I hope you are enjoying the lecture. This is quite an interesting thing. And once we'll start programming, once we'll start putting up our functions, it will rather become so much interesting by then. Anyhow, so you understand that this is first function, first method that we can use to bring IDs over here. There is another function that we use very much and more than even dot get element. That is called query selector. It's a query selector. Okay, here we put an ID and here we put an selectors. Now this is different. Query selector. What is this query selector function? If I come over here and I say document dot query selector can contain the tags as well. As you know, we were talking about something. So for example, if I say H1, you see, if I hit enter, you see that it has brought up my first H1 over here. Are you guys getting that one? Query selector. Query selector accepts the selectors. So selector might be a tag. Make sense? Selector might be an ID. Now, I am stopping here and I would like to just tell something very slowly because students get confusing over here. When we use query selector and we have to access an ID, definitely remember an ID will be accessed by using this hash sign, hash buffer sign. This is called an ID. Why I did not use that in get element by ID? Because it was only accepting the IDs. But here query selector is accepting different selectors. It can accept a tag. So if I give just para, it will understand that para is a tag. Does that make sense, Eric and Aditya? Because you are replying, or Clarissa, you understanding? So it will say that okay, hash para one, go and bring one ID. So ID it can be query selector can access an ID, and a query selector can even access a class which I have not used. I can just we'll do that. So for example, this UL has a class of demo. I'll talk about what is class and how do we use that, but I have just implemented this class. So query selector can be a tag, query selector can be an ID, or query selector can be a class. But remember, when you are accessing a class, you will also always use a dot demo. You see now query selector is bring upon this UL. Everyone got that one? I have tried to explain this very clearly that the selector can be an HTML tag selector, like tags value. It will bring up that. Nicole, where were you when I was explaining that? Why hash paravan? Because query selector accepts different type of selectors. It can be a tag, it can be a class. So if you want to access an ID, Nicole, you will always use hash. When you are trying to access a class, you will always use a dot. Nicole, does that make sense? If does not, I can just explain that again. Nicole, does that make sense? Whenever you want to access, so para one is an ID on my page, and if you want to access an ID by query selector, you will always give a hash. And if you are accessing a class, which is class is equal to demo, if you are accessing a class, you will definitely give always a dot. A dot will be accessed that class. So you see that it has been accessed over here. Nicole, I'm asking feedback. You have asked a question. What yes? What does it mean by yes? Excuse me. Okay, thank you. Yes, Eric, you are right. So selectors can be number one, tag selector, tag name. Number two, ID, and ID will be represented with what? Hash, right? And selector can be a class. and class will be accessed by a what? A dot. And Eric, as you see, you are right, because ID is always unique. Remember, a page should not contain multiple same IDs. Otherwise, your HTML validator will give you an error. You know what I mean? A validator will say, okay, this you have used the same ID twice, but you cannot use same ID twice. Does that make sense, Eric? You are right. If you are accessing, but there is a problem. So you see, I have 3 IMGs over here, and let me just give. Okay, I want to access. You see here, I say document dot query selector, and I want to bring IMG images. If I hit that one, if I hit enter, see here, I get the image, but I only get the first image. So there is another method, which is sister method of this document selector all. Now it will come up with something called a node list. But again, it's exactly, in essence, it's exactly the same. So you see, I have 3 pictures over here. It says that, okay, you have 3 pictures, 3 images over here. Now it is showing me that it's a node list. There are 3 nodes over here. Now, I would leave a question for you guys that you might able to find out the answer. What is the difference between HTML collection? Some of you might be thinking about this question. And node list. I would like to have this answer from you, maybe in the chat sometimes later on, but node list. And so you see, now it is representing a node list. And you remember when I just access that document dot images over here, document dot images. So I get what? The HTML collection. You see, I get, but if I get these same images by using query selector all rather, right? And I say IMG, I want to access IMG. You see that I get a node list. So I would leave it on the user, like readers, that you have to just go and find out what is the difference between these two, right? HTML collection and node list. Anyhow, you understand that it will come up with these 3. And by the way, as I was saying, someone Aditya asked this question: can I access a particular picture from here? Yes, the same way as I was accessing the other. You see, I can access only first picture over here. Aditya, does that make sense? Is that making sense to you? Same concept. Query selector all will also come up with that one, and you can always access this one by one. Right? So that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Okay, so let's move forward and talk about something else. So, okay, so query selector, we have talked about this query selector. We have talked about query selectors all. We have just seen that one. And we can just access by using, as I told you, that if there is a class, we'll be using a dot, and if there is a like ID, will be using a hash sign. Number 2 part, the second program part of DOM programming is creating, adding, and removing elements in the DOM tree. That's a very interesting thing. We can create elements, and we can remove, and we can add those elements to our document. Make sense, everyone? How do we do that? Let me just first of all write it over here, because in notes also, you will find some. So creating, adding, and removing elements from the DOM. At runtime, we want to create, and we want to just remove those elements. So just to create elements, we have a method called document.createElement, and we give the name of the element over here. For example, P, it will create a paragraph text, something like that. Now, first step is create element, and the second step, this will be called as first step. I'll call it first step. Create the element, and the second step will be add it to the current HTML. Right? So these are 2 steps in creating an element. Now let's start creating an element in our console. We are still talking about our console, and why we are talking about console? You know that console is a very easy and a quick way to just check your code and check your concepts over here. Okay. So for example, I say var new h equal to document dot create element. I want to create an h2 over here. H2 element. Element is create. Now I have to check whether it is create. If I hit new h, you see h2 is created. First step done. Now, will it be available in my HTML right now? Anyone? Should it be available in my HTML right now? This H2 should appear somewhere. No, Aditya says no. Why? Aditya, I just told you. The second step is still remaining. What is the second step? I have to add that. Now, how to add that? This is very important. I can access any area of the document by using this one. For example, I say document.body, and it has two methods, append and append child. Append child, what I want to add this new H to the body. Hit enter. Hit enter. H2 is added. How can I can verify that? If I go to elements, if I go to body, I will see that after the script, just don't worry about that. After script, you find there is an H2. How many of you are understanding what's going on? I have created an H2, and H2 is basically visible over here. There is no content of H2, but H2 is available. Okay, let's create another document element. So if I create, I say var new picture equal to, so I want to create a picture, document dot create element, and I want to create an img element, image element, right? New element. So is it created? Let's check that one. Yes, img is created over here. You see, img is created. Now, should it be available in my page? Of course, no. What I'll do is I might say document dot body dot append child, and what I want to append? I want to append new picture, like new p, right? New picture. And if I hit enter, and if I see my elements, do you see that after H2, image also is being appended as a child of the body? Does that make sense to everyone? Adding like creating and adding an element. Oh my God, Aditya, my God. I've been continuously saying you don't worry about this. Yes, it has created, but why are you even worried about that? I'm really surprised to see that. It has automatically created, but don't worry about that. But I'm just talking about just like, forget about what it is adding, like as a browser. Yeah, don't worry. Yeah, it has added. And that's why it looks out of place. Aditya, why? Because it is something that I have not added, by the way, And of course, I am appending to the body. So it has the script tag over here, which of course, when you are appending, it is just bringing it after that one. But I would request you right now, just focus on, of course, you are right. Because you know this concept, and that you know that why this script is basically over here. A script, script can be used over in the head. Do you know about that? That a script can be used in the head or in the body? You have this idea, Aditya, before, like, Yeah, exactly. What I'm creating is basically it is embedding over here, right? Anyhow, so if you come over here, so you see that document.append child. Okay, now a natural question should come in someone's mind. Can I only embed it with the body, or I can embed it anywhere? It's a question to everyone. Yes or no? The image that I have now, new P that I have created, can I embed it only in the body as append child, or I can embed it anywhere? What's your say on that one? Can I embed this img anywhere in my document? So the answer is yes, I can embed it anywhere. As I have accessed the body over here, I can access something. See here, how many of you understand? Let's see how many of you understand. If I say document dot query selector, I'll take a break after that. I'll just ask someone hash para1 dot append child new p. Hit enter. Now, where this new p like image tag should appear in my elements? Can anyone tell me where it would appear? Now, this img is not here anymore. This img that I have created is appearing somewhere else. And do you know where it is? Where it is basically coming over there? If you come to this para1, access that one. Exactly inside this para1, do you see that img has come over here? How many else understand that? Eric, you got it? So I can print, I can take this para1 like I can this image anywhere on my document. That's not a problem. Aditya, thank you very much. And other than Aditya and Eric, is there anyone else wake up or everyone else is sleeping? Can we have some feedback from Clarissa and everyone else? No response. That's wonderful. Okay, Clarissa, thank you. Okay, so let's take a 5 minutes break, a quick 5 minutes break, and then we'll be back and we'll just talk about some more fun. Is that the fun part, Eric? It's interesting. We have started to interact with our page, and not only that, the third part that will start, changing the things. You will definitely enjoy that because I will start making things more and more magical with that one. Okay, so let's take a 5 minutes break, and I'll be back around 9:11 according to my clock. All right, so we have talked about creating new elements and adding them to our document, and we have seen that okay, we can just do that. Now the third part is another very interesting one. The third part is inspecting and modifying elements and their contents. This is very, very interesting because this is basically related to what we have been doing. So the third step is inspecting and modifying elements and their contents. Now, we not only access those elements, but we can change. When we are creating even the elements, we can change the elements, and we can just create some kind of like modification to the elements as well. And what does that mean? I will just first of all show you. Okay, so if you see that this is one paragraph that we have, right? So first of all, I can access this paragraph. So for example, I will access this paragraph in my para. My para is equal to document dot get element. Oh, sorry, not get element. I'll be using mostly query selector, right? Query selector. And what I want to access, see here, I want to access this hash para one, right? So I would say, okay, hash para one, access that one, and hit enter. And now my para has everything that I wanted to look at that. This is my para, right? Now, interestingly, as I said there are certain lots of properties related to this object now. If I say my para dot inner text, there is a property called inner text. Let's start with that one. So right now, my para consists of, in inner text, it consists of this lorem ipsum text. I know that this is the lorem ipsum text, which is appeared on the top as well. Can at runtime I change this text? Yes, I can. Now, if I come over here and say inner text is equal to hello world, I am changed. Look at my document at the top. Do you see that? I can close this and I'll show you. Hello world, I'm changed. The paragraph is completely changed. Make sense, everyone? This is typically what? This is what I can even change the contents of anything that I want. Now, let me tell you a very, very interesting thing. So, for example, you remember we have talked about that we can say document dot query selector all. I want to access, for example, all images right now. Right? And out of these images, the first image that is there, 0, I say that I access that one, and that you can see at the bottom, this image is selected. And if I say dot src, so source is representing car.jpg, and I say equal to not car.jpg, car1.jpg. You know what I'm doing? This is wonderful. Like, if I just hit enter now, okay, there is no car1.jpg. Sorry, I have car2, not car1. So car2.jpg. If I hit that one, you see that the picture has disappeared. Do you see that? Because there is no car1.jpg. So the alt is appearing, picture has gone away. Okay, let's come back over here and do that. So I say car1.jpg, no, car2.jpg. Right, hit enter. How many of you are understanding what I have done? I can even do something like this. I say, okay, go to the second picture and change that to car.jpg. Are you guys getting that? Eric, are you getting that? I have dynamically changed the source of the picture. And that's wonderful because now I have the power of changing any picture at the runtime. When user clicks on something, user does something, I want to change the picture. If you are making a game-like environment where you want to change the pictures every now and then, So you will say, okay, whenever user clicks on this, change this picture to that one, change that picture to that one. And that is what happens in the games. Aditya, you are right. These are not persistent changes. You are right. But for this session, these are the changes. For example, someone is playing a game. So for this session, again, as I refresh the session, these all changes will go away. You are right. But when we'll just do that in the script file, this script file will run. And for example, a game is running, and at that time, it will just make all these changing, and then later on it will change that one. Okay, that's wonderful. So you guys getting that one? We can even change the content of that one. And not only that, let's do something very interesting. I have just talked about var new picture. I can create a new picture equal to document dot create element, and I want to create an img element, right? I have created a new picture element. So let's see. New picture. Is that created? Yes, it is created. Now see here how I will set up its properties. I'll say new picture dot src equal to, for example, car1.jpeg, right? Oh, there is no car1. I'm sorry. I just keep on doing this silly mistake. car2.jpeg. The source is car2.jpeg. And new picture. You see, I am changing its properties. Dot alt equal to new car, new picture dot width equal to 200, like that. Now let's check new picture is ready or not. If I click on that, you see that my new picture is all ready with that one. Alt new car2.jpg width is equal to 200. Now, is that picture available on my document right now? The newly created picture I'm talking about. Is that picture available on my page? Not yet. And why it is not there? Not linked. No, Aditya, not linked. Not appended. Not made the child of some content. You know what I mean? I have not made it at the child of something. So for example, if I come over here and I say document dot query selector, see here what I'm doing. I'm saying dot demo. Which typical section you see that it has just selected that one, dot demo. Right? But I don't want to do that in dot demo because this is a so I can say para1. Oh, sorry, hash para1. Hash para1. So I select this hash para1. Now I say append child. And I say new picture. I want to have the new picture in that paragraph. You know what I mean? If I hit enter, now see at the top of my document. The picture will come over here. Not the link, rather that we have to. Okay, the link. Let's talk about the link as well. Okay, let's talk about the link. For example, I say var new link. I'm creating a link, and you will really enjoy that. So document dot create element, and I want to create a href, anchor href, right? So let's see new link. Anchor is created. Now, what is the property of anchor that makes it a link to some area? What is that? New link dot, what should I do? href, href. Href is equal to, remember, href is equal to, for example, I say https www.google.com. Just set up that one. Now let's check new link is, what is the position of new link? Now new link has href as well. But does it have any text to show? No. How would I bring the text inside that one? I'll say new link dot inner text. Remember inner text? I'll talk about inner HTML as well. Inner text is equal to not Google. Let's write something else. Let's write Seneca. And it will be connected to the google.com by this. Hit that. Now let's check new link. Is it available? Yes. Now it has the Seneca. Now, is it available on my page? No, of course not. We have talked about this a lot of time. Why? Because I need to just embed it somewhere. So for example, I say that I need to embed it. So for example, let's just embed it over here as well again. So I come over here and I say document dot query selector and hash para1 dot append child, and what is the child I want to append? Anyone? New link. Newly created link should be appended over there. Do you see in my document that now this link is created over here and it will take me to the google.com because it is connected to the google.com. And I can connect it to the something else as well. Okay, it just go away because I've just done the refresh. Anyhow, we'll just talk about that. I'll do that with HTML, like with HTML as well. Understand everyone? So we can create something, and let me just create a new link tag again. So I've created a new link, right? And then I will do what? Say inner text is equal to this, and now I want to change its source. Dot href equal to https www.seneca.ca. I don't know if that is the right address. Anyhow, now let's see new link. New link has Seneca and connected to Seneca, right? Now I can just add that. Maybe just add it to the body. Document dot body dot append child. So maybe I can append to the append like the body of the child, like body of that one. So new link. Hit enter. You see that Seneca has appeared over here. And it should be connected to seneca.ca if that is our college. It's not a good one. Anyhow, it's not a good one, but anyhow, you see here. So now that has to be linked. And again, when we come back, of course, this goes away because we have just created that one and just added that one over here. Make sense, everyone? Yes, exactly. There is a remove child as well. You're right. There's a remove child as well. I'll talk about that remove child as well. And you would have seen that. I think they have used that remove child, append child, and yeah, remove child. You see here. So remove child is also used, and if we want to remove something from something, we can just create and we can say that okay, remove child from something. And I'll just use that in one of the example when we'll do a complete example. I'll show you that remove child is also there. We can remove that. So element properties, we are modifying HTML elements with JavaScript. Element.id is the, for example, if you want to give an ID at a runtime, you can give it an ID. Element.inner HTML. Now, what is the difference between inner HTML and inner text? Now see here, let's catch this paragraph. My para equal to document.query selector and hash para1, right? I'm accessing hash para1. Now you will know the difference. If I say my para dot inner text, you see that I get this lorem ipsum because this has this text. Now, if I say my para dot inner text equal to hello, it will be changed to hello, and it has changed by the way. Now, if I say my para dot inner text, I'm just doing inner text equal to bold hello world. I hope you understand what I'm doing. I say that it has to be, but see the output. What has the output become? It says B and B. Do you know which property should I use over here rather than inner text? What should I use? Inner HTML. Why? Because I want to implement an HTML. So inner HTML typically renders the HTML, does not show the tag as it is. So if I hit enter now, and I show you, do you understand what's going on? Do you understand the difference between the inner text and inner HTML? Inner text will give, or will if you give something in inner text, it won't be rendered, and of course it should not be rendered. But if you give something in HTML, inner HTML, it would be an HTML that would be rendered to something else. Are you guys getting that? Exactly. Inner text is raw string, and inner HTML is basically in the same way. We can just do that something like this as well. If I say, give me document dot body dot inner HTML. If I ask for inner HTML of the document dot body, you see that it is just giving me so many bodies, and there are some added something over there, but it is bringing me the body back. So if I say document dot body dot inner text, so if I say that, just give me the inner text over here. If I hit enter, you see that it's just giving me the text out of it. Welcome, this is paragraph with the link in it. First item, second item, third item, hello world. You see, it is just bringing up that text over there, and it is just bringing up that text from over there. Why it is not showing this? Oh, hello world. I have changed that hello world. That's why the hello world is coming. You know what I mean? I was thinking that why this lorem ipsum has not come. So you are understanding that it has been hello world because runtime. This is my hello world right now. Make sense, everyone? If I refresh that one, and I get that same thing again, document.body.inner text. So inner text means it will just bring up all the text. You see, lorem ipsum is also appearing. Are you understanding that? So, for example, if I say inner text equal to hello, see here what will happen. My all document goes away. Why? Because, and even if I say that is equal to, for example, write this one bold, or maybe just say h1 hello world, h1 closed, and paragraph hello paragraph closed, something like that. I want to give this in the body, but since I'm giving an inner text, will it be rendered over there? No, it will just come up as normal text over there. Hello world paragraph, which looks bad, right? And I want to just render that HTML over there. So what I'll do, rather than writing inner text, I will write it inner HTML. Inner HTML is equal. Now see the difference. Do you guys understand the difference between these two? Now this is hello world is a H2, and hello paragraph is a paragraph. Is that clear to everyone? That's wonderful. Aditya says yes. Nicole says yes. All others, Clarissa and everyone, you understand what's going on? Okay, so this is basically changing something. This is basically creating elements or modifying the properties. So there are so many properties. Parent node gets a reference to the parent node. Whatever we are accessing, if you say element.parent node, you will access to the parent node. And we'll just work about that. Element methods is query selector all, scroll into view. This is another important one that we'll use. Has attribute. We want to check it has some attribute, get attributes, set attributes, remove attributes. We'll just talk about this one, and you can just have a look at these examples that have been given over here. Okay, so the last but not the least, we want to talk about events. And what is that? This might be the fourth part of it that we're talking about. Run code in response to the events triggered by the browser. And this is something where I will just end my class and just give you a quick idea of that one. So events, JavaScript is typically, and DOM is an event-driven programming. DOM really relies heavily on a concept known as event-driven programming. In event-driven programming, a main loop, aka event loop, processes events as they occur. Examples of events include things like user actions. When clicking on a button, it's an event. Moving the mouse, an event. Pressing a key is an event. Changing tabs in the browser is an event, or browser. Or browser code initiated actions. For example, timers, some timer expired, this should go away. Some messages appearing over there from background processing, reports from the sensor, some sensors are coming like that. So all of these called actions or events, and on these events, we run some code in JavaScript. So instead of instead of writing a program in strict order, we write functions that should be called in response to various events occurring. Such functions often referred as event handlers, because they can handle the case of some event happening. If there is no handler of a given event, where it occurs, the browser will simply ignore it. However, if you want, so again, we'll just talk about that one. And I want to tell you now that now we are starting to talk about the JavaScript part of it. And first of all, let me just refresh that. I want to have this document back. And now I will ask all of you to just come over here and create a new file and call it script.js that we have talked about, like script.js. And I will always check it like this. Okay, alert, check if I am working, right? If the script is working, I can check that one. Okay, how to connect that script? As Aditya was asking something, a script can come in the head section or at the body. I would recommend you just always place it towards the end of the body. Write down script tag, script src is equal to, and I'll say script.js, because this is out at my main page. Do you see script is already connected with it? Understand, everyone? Script is already connected with it. Why? Because it's running this alert. Make sense, everyone? One more thing that I can check right now, not alert, I can check console. Oh, sorry. I can check console. Console.log. I am script .js running in console. Now, you remember we used to run that console in our document. Now, if I want to check it, whether it is connected or not, I will go to its console. And I'll go to the console. I find I am a script.js running in the console. You see this message is coming from the script.js line number 1. Clarissa, is that making sense? Now it means the script is very much connected to it. But of course, since I'm giving the console.log output, it will just print that output in the console. Nicole, everyone getting that one? I have connected successfully. So how do I connect that? Script src is equal to script.js. Okay, that's wonderful. Now, if you guys understand that, I will just give you a last thing to just ponder over here, and then we will just we'll complete this one in our next section. Now, see here, what we want to do. What we do, DOM programming is typically done by writing many functions that execute in response to events in the browser. We will write function and we will execute them in response to the events. So we register our event handlers to indicate that we want a particular action to occur. DOM events have a name. We used to refer to them in the code. We can register DOM event handlers for the given in one of the two ways. I'll just talk about the one of the way, but I am just right now not looking into this example because I want to just make you quickly see that what is happening. If I say var my body equal to document.body, how many of you understand what this my body contains now? You understand that all documents body references come inside the my body? Is that understandable? Good. Now if I say my body dot on click, there is an event, there are lots of events on click equal to handle event. I'm calling a function handle click. I don't need to even use that function symbol over here. I am saying that whenever someone clicks on the body, my body, a handle click function should be called. And what is the handle click function? I'll just write that handle click function. Are you guys getting that? I have got the reference of the body. The whole body reference is with me. I'm saying my body dot on click. Whenever someone clicks on this one, hand click. Handle. Whenever someone clicks on this body, like my body, you just run this function. And again, don't need to use this parenthesis over here. You just say, okay, on click, handle click. Handle click is this function that will run over here. Now let's do something. Document.title equal to, do you understand this much? So whenever, see the sequence. When someone, like I have accessed the body, my body, and I say whenever someone clicks on the body, call this function handle click. And handle click function says, catch the document title and change it to, do you understand this much? Now I come to my document and click anywhere on my body, like HTML body, anywhere. I'm not clicked, now I'm clicking. I click that. How many of you see what has happened in my document? Do you see what has happened? The title of document is changed. Why? Because I have run that. I have taken that action through which action. So let's see that again. On my body, whenever someone clicks, run this function handle click. Handle click is doing what? It is saying document dot take the title and change it to this one. I click on this one again, refresh that. This is the document. See everyone? And when I click on anywhere of the body, I see that my title changes. Okay. Can I do one more thing? Document dot query selector hash para1. Remember hash para1? We have got a hash para1 dot inner text equal to impressed or not. Let's see. I want to show you something very interesting. I am saying that whenever someone clicks on the body, do two things. First of all, change the title to, do you understand this much? And catch a para ID and change its inner text to impressed or not. Got everyone? Now click on this one. How many of you say, yes, I got it? What does that mean? How many of you say will this? Are you getting that? What this function is doing and how it is going on? That once someone is clicking on the body, it is running a call function, and that function is doing two things: changing the text over here and changing the title for my document. Now, you might be thinking about something interesting. Document dot query selector, selector all, and I want to bring all images. And remember the first image. I want to say first image and href equal to car3.jpeg. Let's see how many of you understand this one. I say that, okay, access the all the images. Out of that, the first image change is href. Oh, not href. It is src. For the picture, it is src. Picture image src. Now see here. If I come over here and I click on somewhere on the body, see what happens. Three things happens over here. My picture one has changed to this one, car2.jpg. My title has changed and my text has changed. Again, refresh. See here. This is car2.jpg. If I click on over here, title changes, picture changes, and this changes. Rajesh, are you making sense of it? This is quite interesting. Now we have started practically into this DOM programming, because now we are seeing, okay, handle clicking, that click user is clicking on that one, and we are just doing that one. And you might be understanding that, okay, I can use anything over here to access that one, and then on that I can apply an on click over there. Is that making sense to everyone? Can you do on click again to revert back? Exactly. If you want to say that, okay, if I click on that on click, so if like it, but again, you need to just define that function typically again. And it has a problem, and I'll talk about that in the next class. That on click has an inherent problem. That's why we use add event listener, by the way. But again, right now, but you are saying that if someone clicks again, you want to maybe refresh the page. You know what I mean? So Aditya, yes, that might be possible that you want to refresh the page, but that typically speaking, that will be handled like that will have another function over there, and you will have to have more than one click of operations over there. But then on that side, it might be a problem that which one click you could run, because on click on body will run at least at once. It only runs at once. If you want to refresh that, how to use on LCI? What is this LCI? Nicole, what is that? What's that, Nicole? Okay, if that was not intended, what is that? How to use what? That's very interesting. You're not. Okay, right. So see here that this is basically a handle click. And I can give you a very quick sense of one more thing, just for one more thing. If I come over here, for example, I have just only one H1 in the document. So I can access this H1 as well. So if I say over here, var my head equal to document dot query selector H1, I'm just accessing the H1. And when I do H1, and you remember, only query selector will only select the first H1. Remember, all will select everyone, but first will select only the first one. So I have that one, and I say my head dot on click equal to handle click 2. For example, I'll call another function handle click 2. Right? So I'll create another function. Handle click 2. I want to create this function. And this function is doing what? See here, for example, document dot query selector. Again, I'm accessing itself, right? Itself dot inner text is equal to I am updated, right? Something like that. I want to show you something that and even. So you see, I'm saying that on my head is what? H1, and H1 is this one. If I go and click on this one, see here what will happen. You see that now the text in itself, its text has been updated to updated. Not only that, my other action has also run, because that was also handle click has also run, because I'm clicking on the body as well. See here, sorry. See here, and if I refresh that, if I click on this one, it should run only this one, but both of them will run, because it is also I'm clicking on the body as well. So if I come over here and I hit it, is this one. You see, it gets updated. So I'm saying that, okay, whenever I am clicked, whenever I am clicked, my own inner text should be changed to updated. Nicole, are you getting that one? So I just wanted to show you, you can have anything that you can apply on click, on mouse over. There are lots of events. We'll talk about those events in our coming class. Next class, we'll just talk about that one. I'm asking something. Is that understandable to everyone? Yes or no? Okay, thank you. So that only makes sense to you. Okay, Clarissa, thank you. Okay, so I'm stopping over here and I'll continue from this point onwards in my second section, like second part. And I would definitely invite you guys to just, join the class, and if you want, you can have. I'll talk about that, Nicole. I'll talk about that in the next section, next session, right? Yes, you're right. It includes the body as well. But how does it include? That's a very different story. I'll talk about that later on. But I hope you guys understand this much at this point of time. And now, if you just see that I've got this one, the text is changing, and this script is running, and this script is very much connected to our page. Right? Any questions thus far? If no, I'll stop recording. Tuesday and Friday lectures. What does that mean by Tuesday and Friday lectures?